Good evening. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Gilbert, where a man is dead after being shot by police. Let's give you some live pictures from the scene near the intersection of Lindsay and Guadalupe, where police were first called out around 6 o'clock tonight after getting reports of a man slumped over in a car.
Gilbert police tell 12 News that when officers approached the car, the man pulled out a weapon. That's when two officers fired, hitting the suspect, who was pronounced dead at the scene. No officers were injured, and police say that intersection of Lindsay and Guadalupe roads will remain closed tonight as they continue their investigation. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Our top story tonight, the city of Phoenix is one step closer to naming its next police chief. The top 3 finalists were announced this afternoon after a 6-month search.
12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is live at Phoenix Police Headquarters with some background on each of these finalists. Hi, Gabby.
Hey, Mark and Caribe, each of these candidates comes with decades of experience in law enforcement, which is just one of the requirements for this job. The city of Phoenix tells me they want their next chief to be a strong leader, both in the department and out in the community. A nationwide search for Phoenix's next police chief has been narrowed to 3 finalists: Malik Aziz, Matthew Giordano, and Mirtha Ramos. Malik Aziz comes with more than 35 years of experience in law enforcement. Since 2021, Aziz has served as chief of Prince George's County Police Department in Maryland. Most of his career was spent with the Dallas Police Department, where he worked his way from patrol officer to deputy chief. Matthew Giordano is the only finalist with roots in Phoenix. Giordano currently serves as the executive director of the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board, the agency responsible for officer curriculum and discipline. He previously worked as the executive chief of enforcement for the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and a commander for Phoenix Police. Mirtha Ramos spent more than 2 decades with the Miami-Dade Police Department, rising in the ranks to division chief. She most recently spent 5 years with the DeKalb County Police Department in Georgia, where she served as the first female chief. According to our sister station in Atlanta, Ramos was asked to step down earlier this year after new county leadership decided to restructure the department.
I definitely was surprised. It was unexpected. I didn't do anything wrong, so that's important for me to leave with my reputation intact.
The city of Phoenix began their search in December of last year, but started over after former interim chief Michael Sullivan withdrew his name from the running.
Just from that first process, no one was selected, so we moved on and reposted and got new candidates in the mix.
The city reopened applications in April. Deputy City Manager David Matthews says they relied on input from community and labor groups for the first round of interviews and will heavily consider feedback leading into the final round.
And the most important piece of this process is the feedback we get from community, our labor partners, our employees, city staff, all of that really goes into the entire process. So involving the community with every step of this process is the most important piece of this.
And the community will have the chance to weigh in and even ask their own questions during a public forum this upcoming Monday. Those questions will have to be submitted ahead of time online. The final decision will be made next month. Live in Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Gabby, thanks. For the second straight night, downtown Los Angeles is under a curfew as protests against ICE raids and troop deployments in the city continue. LA's Mayor Karen Bass instituted the curfew last night after stores were looted during Monday's protests. However, she added that there was no looting during last night's curfew. Over the last 4 days, more than 300 people have been arrested. Meanwhile, there was also a large protest in Spokane, Washington tonight. The city's mayor announced an emergency curfew that went into effect about an hour ago. Our sister station there says at one point, protesters blocked a truck that was transporting people who'd been detained by ICE. Spokane police say that several people have now been arrested.
Meanwhile, back here in the valley, the mayor of Peoria is addressing an anti-ICE protest that broke out in his city yesterday and led to a police officer being assaulted. He says that it happened because of false information that was spread online. That suspect was in court today and is now facing a felony charge. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is joining us live in Peoria after speaking with the mayor. And Chase, this protest happened because there were rumors claiming that there was an ICE raid going on, but the mayor and the police say that that's not what was happening.
Kariba, that's right. According to Peoria Police, Homeland Security investigations were raiding that home as part of a drug bust operation. But then just a few hours ago, we did get a statement from HSI saying that they did turn someone into immigration authorities during this. A protest that grew out of control in the West Valley ended with one person arrested and an officer hurt. A situation Peoria Mayor Jason Beck says should have never happened.
Well, it's extremely irresponsible, right? They are looking for an altercation.
On Tuesday morning near Peoria and 67th Avenues, the large group gathered because rumors spread on social media that it was an ICE raid going after undocumented immigrants. Dozens showed up, including Maricopa County Supervisor Steve Gallardo, to protest.
You're going after folks that are just here to provide a better lives for their families, and it's unfortunate that you're separating families.
But the mayor and police say this had nothing to do with immigration, blaming local leaders for spreading misinformation.
These people that are fanning the flames, these politicians, that's the problem, which resulted in officers being assaulted.
Beck said Homeland Security investigators were at the home for a drug-related investigation. Police were also there to help with traffic control. During the protest, court documents claim 23-year-old Tyler Hitt wrapped caution tape around an officer's body that eventually got wrapped around his neck as they tried to leave the area and then pulled on it. The officer then turned around and grabbed Hitt. It also alleges Hitt tried to run, and that's when the officer used their taser. In this video, it's believed Hitt is on the ground, surrounded by officers, as protesters try to get to them.
We end up arresting one of these individuals, and there's more to come. And because anybody that touches one of my police officers, they better look out. It's coming for them.
While the city says this had nothing to do with ICE or immigration activity, HSI in a statement told us one person was turned over to immigration authorities and doesn't appear to face any charges related to the narcotics bust. Now, I did try to reach out to Supervisor Gallardo several times today just for a comment or a statement interview in response to the mayor's comments, but I haven't heard anything at this time. I was also able to make contact with the suspect in this case, Tyler Hitt, but they declined to be interviewed. We're live in Peoria. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thanks. A lot of heavy hearts in Apache Junction. Earlier today, local law enforcement came together to support the family of fallen Apache Junction police officer Gabriel Facio. Facio was shot in the line of duty on June 2nd and died from his injuries on Sunday afternoon. Thousands from all over the valley made their way out to Apache Junction High School today for a barbecue. Officials from other agencies, including Queen Creek Police and Fire, they were called out and they were happy to grill burgers out there in that heat today. We heard from community members who wanted to take time out of their day to do something for Officer Facio's family.
So sad, anytime anybody, gives their life to support us and protect us.
It hurt. We didn't know him personally, but it hurt. So we just thought, it's a tight community here.
Gabriel Facio is survived by a large family from Mexico and El Paso, Texas. Apache Junction Police Chief Michael Pooley says everyone in his family is incredibly kind, as Gabriel Facio was himself. Tonight, our thoughts are with that family. Tonight, Vallow Daybell's latest murder conspiracy trial is in the hands of the jury.
She's already been convicted in Idaho and in Arizona in the deaths of her children and former husband. The I-Team's Erica Stapleton was in the courtroom today for the latest trial, where we heard some very emotional closing arguments.
After closing arguments, the jury got the case Wednesday afternoon and decided to break before coming to a verdict.
Vallow Daybell.
When a family breaks apart, it is a tragedy.
Giving her last pitch to jurors.
I am not exempt from tragedy. None of us are.
Amid a wave of objections.
I cannot tell you what happened that day on October 2nd, 2019, because I was not there.
And I'm going to again object to testifying, and please strike everything the defendant has said.
This is her third trial in 3 years, the second where she's represented herself. In this case, she's accused of conspiring to kill her niece's ex-husband, Brandon Boudreaux. The jury does not know she's already been convicted of murdering her children, Tylee and JJ, and convicted of conspiring to kill her former husband, Charles Vallow, and her current husband, Chad Daybell's first wife.
Other than what you've seen, which is no evidence that I made an agreement to commit a crime, because no such evidence exists. So I'm not defensive. I'm not angry. Nobody has all the pieces to this puzzle. It is complex.
We don't need words. We have actions that are obvious, and they're done by this defendant and her co-conspirators.
Prosecutor Trina Kay walking the jury through all the evidence that Vallow Daybell's brother, Alex Cox, shot at Brandon Boudreau outside his home in Gilbert in October 2019. Boudreau wasn't injured and even testified against Vallow Daybell.
Because you look at what is going on here, and it screams to you a conspiracy by this defendant, by Melanie Boudreau, by Alex Cox, and by Chad Daybell to kill Brandon Boudreau.
Chad Daybell was sentenced to death in Idaho for killing Lori Vallow Daybell's children and his first wife. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office declined to prosecute Chad Daybell in this case, and Alex Cox died before charges were filed. Lori's niece Melanie, Brandon Boudreau's ex-wife, hasn't been charged, and her attorney had no comment on this trial. For now, it's just Lori Vallow Daybell, her fate in the hands of jurors once again.
The state asks you to look at everything together. Regardless of how many people want to cry up here, this defendant is guilty.
The jury is expected to pick up deliberations Thursday morning. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
All right, Erica, thank you.